will allow us to provide you with some context for that draft that's coming up maybe right now. We'll start with the number 1 overall pick. Looking ahead to this draft rank, who are we taking first overall, and who's the safest? Who makes you feel the most comfortable at number 1?
Well, you know what? It feels like the most obvious, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with Jonathan Taylor, even though he was the number 1 guy last year, and everybody likes to talk about regression, and everybody's worried. People try to overthink things in this world, Patrick, like way too much. Like, I was on Twitter last night. I found out that there are people who think that Aaron Judge should be the MVP over Shohei Ohtani, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Similarly, not drafting Jonathan Taylor will be that way. Consider how good he was last season. They have a significant upgraded quarterback with Matt Ryan. I would reason with you, Jonathan Taylor could be even better this year. So if you're sitting at 101, don't think about it. Just take Jonathan Taylor.
Well, weirdly, I would feel like in that analogy, Jonathan Taylor would be the Aaron Judge and Christian McCaffrey would be the Shohei Ohtani because he both runs and catches the football right here. Look, I understand the injury concerns, right? Knowing that he's only played, 10 games the last 2 seasons. So I get the concern there. But when he's healthy, there are a few guys in this league that have the same sort of snap share, same sort of touch share, and the fact that he is the guy who can approach 90 to 100 catches in a season, I think, you sort of have to bake in that injury risk because everybody can get hurt. So I still think Christian McCaffrey should very much be in that conversation for the top overall pick.
All right, so you guys are just knocking out the obvious ones. I think the most next obvious choice would be Derrick Henry, but I want to go a little deeper, you guys, because, some people like Patrick go real risky in the draft. And if you're at 101, what about Dalvin Cook maybe? Speaking of the injury concern with CMC, I know that Dalvin Cook did miss 4 games last season, but guess what? He still finished with over 1,000 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. He's averaging 21 plus touches a game in 4 of the last 5 seasons. I understand that Alexander Mattison is a great RB2 option, but Dalvin Cook is still the real deal. There are a lot of mouths to feed on offense between Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. So expect Kirk Cousins to continue to have his workhouse back and Dalvin Cook. And Patrick, this is just for you. Be risky. Take Cook in the first round, first overall.
Oh, Kimmy, that's the thing. You have to scout yourself. You have to scout yourself and know your limits. And that is why I am taking the safest choice to me. And as Rank said, that's JT, but Najee Harris got a ton of opportunity last year. I don't see anything that's going to change that. It's either a rookie quarterback or it's Mitchell Trubisky. No, there's not going to be hopeless checkdowns from Ben, but you're in half-point PPR anyway, probably. Hashtag checkdowns with hope. He's healthy. The offense loses the Ben shackles. I can make an easy case for top 3 Najee. I think it's an easy case to make. So here's what the folks at the Fantasy Calculator have for the top 8 picks. All of our picks up there with Kupp and JJ. And then as Kenny mentioned, there's King Henry coming back off of injury who could definitely be in that top spot as well. There's a case to be made with any of these guys. You have the number 1 overall pick. You're going to get a good football player.